details. Oh, sorry about that. Another technical difficulty. Sorry. Now everything's working. My mic is working right now. For those that are just joining, I am painting a very tranquil and peaceful scene, and hopefully by the end of this painting it will feel like that. Coming right now is just still resuming back to the darks and adding some of the shapes back. might not look like it, but reflections in the waters are quite tricky to do, especially because initially it would feel like it's very, 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 very like smooth, and there's no definition to it, but there's more to it. There's a lot of little ripples, a lot of little indentations with different colors merging, overlapping, and blending together. That's what creates that beautiful reflection in the water. And it will take some time, but I think by adding slowly the basic color and the shapes, and then I kind of will zoom in and do more of a tunnel vision painting process, and then from that on I'll do a full painting process, because every little thing does matter, especially if you want to give that really, really nice tranquil feeling. Let's see how it turns out. So for example, I'm going to start right here and trying to make this as much as I can to put all the details. I'm kind of using some of the vertical lines because we're going to be adding also horizontal lines for the perspective of us and how we see the water. We'll be adding both. kind of bringing in some of the oranges in the little area.
Can age spots?
Check this
Get
out.
a little bit of that pop effect. Just like very, very softly, I'm just gliding over with the brush. It's a process, but have to almost prepare to go on this journey to get to this piece. Sometimes that a lot of these colors and bumps in the road and some of these challenges will always arise, but the end of it will be very worthwhile. some part will be coming up where the stems and the branches of the trees will start showing up, and that's when the formation and the feeling of the environment will be much clearer. For now, I'm still trying to gather together all the colors that are in the forest's reflection. Just think about it. It's just not one or two. It's hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands of trees all bundled up in one area. Many people don't know about this about me. Is that one of my favorite places to contemplate and to gather inspiration is the forest. And anything to do with deciduous trees, or especially when it's right after the rain or during the rain, there's something about it that I can't quite wrap any words that would explain that feeling. But if anyone in the the chat will be able to find that particular, like, it's such a unique word. I don't quite remember that how to say it, but there's something about it that really just triggers every part of my artistic instincts to just gather information, absorb it, and be one with it. be going in with more of the brighter colors now. Hopefully, let's see if I can soften everything up first. Just loading in just a little bit of the water sprays on top of the canvas. Not too much, just a little bit of water. And let's see. It's been a little process, but go in with quite of a bright color right now. Step by step, all come together in the end. And even if it doesn't, it's okay. Because every type of process, every type of artistic endeavor, I've come to that realization that no matter what, it's always going to be the best lesson for you. If you make it right away, if you don't make it, if there's a lot of mistakes, it doesn't matter. Every part of that is part of is meant for you in your artistic journey. Every time I'm going to be layering some of this color, I'm just very, very gently just gliding over the paint. kind of feeling for how the trees are wanting to be reflected in the water. On the very last step, I'm going to be creating some of the horizontal ripple effect. And that will give some great perspective, in my opinion. Just adding some oranges right now. Adding like that pop on the side. After the orange color, I'm gonna go back into the yellow-green and then the dark and then the very light where the trees, branches, and trunks are gonna be highlighted in the water. It's gonna be a nice, very, very pretty color. I just keep hitting my light with my big brush. It's very large. Add some here. adding back some of the greens too. Some of the white popped out. I think it's really excited to be painted. Only just a few minutes to cover that back up. Some blues, just a tad bit. Been using a lot of yellows lately. Definitely one of the main colors. Becoming one of the main colors. Just about getting there. Seeing a lot of the shapes popping out. That's exactly what I want. I think after this, I'm going to go into the very darks once more, just to add some more shapes around the brightened colors. just add some blacks in a little bit more, and then we'll go on to the fun part. Let's start adding some blacks in the middle, and I'll just start spreading out across the whole painting. So let's try, let's try right here first. Right here. I'm just kind of feeling where it wants to go. Probably going to be using my fingers a lot lately. There you go. I've been hitting my light a lot lately. Go. Add a little more here. The fun part's going to be in a few minutes when I start adding this special visitor that's going to be added into the painting. That's going to be really fun to do. Hopefully it turns out. But before I do, I have to get all the, at least as much as I can, some of the background already ready for it. If you notice, I'm still squinting my eyes because I always have a habit of doing that when I try to see the colors in its entirety. it's somewhat almost ready for some of the tree color on the bark. Alright, so what I'm going to do, for now, I'm going to be just putting my brushes in the water. It's quite dirty right now, but I think it'll be okay. I'm going to be adding a lot of like subtle, like gray stems in the background, and then as I go to the foreground, it's going to be much lighter, so we'll give that depth. I'm going to go first on the very, very farthest tree that I can see, and then I'm going to kind of move my way up. So let's start with one over there. I'm just going to be just feeling wherever the trees want to sway. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take a darker color, because it's all in layers. I have to be patient with it, but I'm going to be taking a darker color to add on top of the lighter tree here. It's a process, for sure. It'll be all worth it. Add one there, maybe one here. It's peeking out somewhere. There you go. Maybe. Go all the way up. There you go. There. All right. Kind of get the gist. All the darker trees in the background. I'm going to go with the lighter one. Same concept, but it's going to be more pronounced. So you'll see a lighter version of it. I'm going to try to go maybe right here. And the key is not to paint everywhere with this white. So it has to be very, very methodical. I think I'm going to be adding more light, much more light here. Go. So if you see it upside down, you'll see a lot of the formations of the trees building up. So what I'm going to be doing, just ever so lightly, just go down with some horizontal lines from the top. And I go back in really quickly to kind of gather last bits and pieces of the vertical lines that are in the water. All sorts of colors, not just the white anymore. Here we go. Just adding in some of that nice, beautiful, rich colors back into the water. It has to feel like it's washed out and not, the whole feeling I'm trying to get to is it feels like it's like a glass reflection in a moving lake or a pond. So you'll see the reflection not to be extremely identical. I want to create it as if it's very flowing and just at ease. Even though it takes a lot, a lot of layers to create that, but that's the whole fun of it. Who knew that the most peaceful painting could always, to get to that peaceful painting, you have to go through a lot of layers, a lot of shadows, lots of light. I'm kind of tilting my head so I can see on the angle. Sometimes really nice to change up the position. Sometimes I'll stand up actually. Afterwards I'll probably do that. Just getting the last bit. There you go. There you go. So now we have finally did the kind of one of a very basic first layer of the reflection going down vertically. Now we're going to just do a tad bit details of going horizontally, and that's what's going to give that beautiful water effect. And to do that, all I'm going to be doing is taking some of the pre-existing colors and just moving it back and forth. First, I'm probably going to go with the light, and then I'll just do touches of the dark. And then I'm going to be adding into the final touch of the painting. So right now, I'm going to go get some of the color. This is the fun part, I think. So I'm just gonna go back and forth just a little bit. Very slightly, ever so lightly, going back and forth. It has to go so invisible that it doesn't really show up. So you have to be very careful. Kind of going with the flow is where the water, I think that is going to break up and give a really beautiful ripple. Afterwards, I'm going to enhance one or two or just a few places for more definition. But for now, it has to be very light, very soft, almost unnoticeable. I'm going to stand up for a quick second so I can see the whole painting. This will probably be a lot easier for me to paint a few of the ripples. Sometimes it's really good to adjust the seating positions, especially if you're sitting for such a long period of time. Add more of the magenta. I love adding magenta, crimson, and a lot of my paintings. Every color to me really represents a very specific character or personality or emotion. And some of the colors that I'm using today are pretty much designed to evoke the feeling of the scene. Like, for example, the color black, both can resemble two different meanings depending on which painting I'm doing. And for this one, it's mystery. And the yellow represents energy. And the green, most notably, is one of my favorite colors that represents peace. If you recall, one of my paintings, The Prince of Peace, his eyes are green, and it was because of that specific feeling that he was evoking through the paints. And only that color was able to portray that. Just when I add back in yellow, I ran out again. So definitely yellow is the main color, becoming the main color in this painting. So maybe the painting has a very energetic piece to it, because yellow represents energy and life force. So see if you can tell, I'm using this color to enhance some of the areas, but not a lot, because you don't want it to overpower, especially right here. I still want it to feel very calm, very serene, tranquil, and peaceful. So I'm going to be adding just a tad bit of the darks, the dark ripples, just a little bit. Let's do it maybe right here. What I'm going to be doing now is a very, very fun part. So we're going to be adding a visitor on this lake, or river, or pond. What do you guys think? Should this be a river, pond, or a lake? Or a creek, going into a creek? Whichever you guys think, we'll make it happen. So for me to start, I'll be seeing if I could sketch this out first. Maybe here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have an idea where I'm gonna be putting this. Actually, there's one brush I am missing, and I think it's on the other area. I'm actually going to be opening up my own brush kit and I'm using from this. This is the one I want. Very, very tiny brush. Okay, here we go. Let's get started on the very, very generic portions. Okay. What do you think that I'm going to be painting? Before I lay down the first layers of paint, is there anybody that can guess what I'm going to be painting on this water? Some people are very close at guessing. I'll give you a clue. It's white. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be adding against the contrast of the reflection. I feel like white will be a really, really nice distinction. Let's do one that's just about trailing behind. Actually, two. Let's make it two. Maybe I'm gonna make one right. Should I make it closer and do one right here? For now, I'm just going to do just one large and a few small. It could change, but who knows? But for now, I think that'll be okay. Because I don't want to put off one a little bit too far off because of the composition, but we'll see where this goes. Knowing me, I never know the end in its entirety, but that is okay. I'm gonna add my palette right here so you guys can see the colors that I'm mixing. Just going in with some of the highlights. Just to make a nice outline of the swan. Going to ever so slightly blend. When it comes to details, sometimes like stabilizing my hand, it really, really helps me. Yeah, I'm really glad that I decided to do more of a lighter color bird. Really gives a nice contrast. I'm making the reflection just a tad bit darker, so it shows the distinction of upper water and the reflection. slowly but surely, just adding colors together. I'm gonna add just a tad bit of blue on the other side of the swan. Will give a very brilliant white shine. So that's kind of what I want. Just like that. Put it on the head. And the little swans have some shadows underneath, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of building it up just a little bit. Let's add the beak in so we have somewhat of a full bird. The most notable features of the swan is the contrast between the white, black, and their beak. I'm just going to be blending out the reflection just a tad bit so I can get some definition from the chick baby. I actually don't know how the baby swans are called. Maybe it's called a chickling. Just want to get the beak noticeable. Okay. adding some basic shadows. And just do a little bit of the chicklings reflection. Or the baby swans. I'll just call them the baby swans. I just noticed there are 5 of them. I didn't even realize that I painted 5. Kind of reminds me of me and my 4 brothers. It may appear that a lot of the comments are saying you all are seeing pure green screen. Let me know if this is in the Facebook, Instagram, or the YouTube. It's quite interesting that I just mentioned that green is peaceful.